What happened to Peter Cetera? Born September 13th, 1944 in the Windy City, Cetera was in a band called The Exceptions when in late 1967 he was recruited by another aspiring group, then called Chicago Transit Authority, to play bass. Cetera shared lead vocals on 3 of the 11 songs on the album, Questions 67 and 68, I'm a Man, and Someday, his tenor voice complementing the baritone voices of the 2 other lead singers in the group, keyboardist Robert Lamb and guitarist Terry Kath. Adding to his early recording experience, Cetera played electric bass on Chicago folk singer and songwriter Dick Campbell's album, Dick Campbell Plays Where It's At, released in 1966 on Mercury Records. The follow-up album, Chicago, vaulted the band to popular status throughout the world. The song 25 or 6 to 4 was the first major hit single with Cetera singing lead vocals. Chicago is also notable for featuring Cetera's first songwriting effort with the group, Where Do We Go From Here? By the early 70s, Chicago was among the most popular acts in America, their brand of muscular jazz rock spawning such major hits as Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is and Saturday in the Park, many of them featuring Cetera on vocals. Cetera became a more prolific songwriter for the group, contributing the songs Wishing You Were Here and Happy Man to the 1974 album Chicago 7. Wishing You Were Here featured vocals by members of the Beach Boys and reached number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 1976, he penned the ballad If You Leave Me Now, and when it hit number 1, most of Chicago's subsequent work followed in the same soft rock style. Another success in the same vein followed, 1977's Baby What a Big Surprise, which was featured on the Chicago 7 album. He was credited as one of the background vocalists on Billy Joel's single My Life, released in 1978 from the album 52nd Street. The following year, he collaborated with Karen Carpenter on her self-titled solo album, providing backing vocals for a song that he had written, Making Love in the Afternoon. By the end of the 70s, with the rise of disco music, Chicago's popularity declined, culminating in the release of the band's poorest-selling album to that point, Chicago 14, which peaked at number 71 on the Billboard 200 chart in 1980. Columbia Records subsequently bought out the remainder of Chicago's contract. In 1981, Cetera recorded his first solo album, Peter Cetera, on Warner Bros. Records after personally buying the rights from his previous contract with Columbia Records, who wouldn't release the project. Although the band's fortunes dwindled over the remainder of the decade, in 1982, Chicago returned to the top of the charts with Hard to Say I'm Sorry. It was also featured in the movie Summer Lovers starring Daryl Hannah. The second single, Love Me Tomorrow, also co-written with Foster and sung by Cetera, reached number 22 on the Billboard Hot 100. In 1983, he took a break from his duties as Chicago frontman to add backing vocals on Paul Anka's final U.S. Top 40 hit, Hold Me Till the Morning Comes, which debuted in the summer of that year. When Chicago 17 was released in 1984, it became the veteran band's most successful album in their history, eventually selling over 6 million copies in the US alone. All 4 singles released from the album were sung by Cetera, including 3 which he co-wrote, and all of them charted in the top 20, Stay the Night, which went to number 16, Hard Habit to Break, which went to number 3, You're the Inspiration, which went to number 3, and Along Comes a Woman, which reached number 14. Although Peter Cetera recorded his self-titled solo debut in 1981, he remained with Chicago full-time until 1985. The 2 sides could not resolve their differences, and Cetera left the band in July 1985. He was replaced by Jason Scheff as both bassist and lead singer. Retrospectively, Cetera said he wanted an arrangement similar to the one that Phil Collins and Genesis had at the time, with Collins being a member and touring with Genesis, while also doing some solo work at the same time, and his former bandmate Danny Seraphine agreed that's what the group should have done. Upon quitting the band, he soon returned to the top of the charts with The Glory of Love, the first single from his album Solitude/Solitaire, as well as the theme to the film The Karate Kid Part 2. That same year, he scored another #1 smash, The Next Time I Fall, a duet with Amy Grant. Solitude/Solitaire, which made it to number 23 on the Billboard 200, outsold Chicago 18, the first Chicago album without him, which peaked at number 35. A year later, he produced Agnetha's False-Cog's I Stand Alone, and upon resurfacing in 1988 with One More Stay, Cetera scored with another duet, After All, this one recorded with Cher, which was included on the soundtrack of the movie Chances Are, as well as on Cher's Heart of Stone album. In 1990, a song by Cetera titled No Explanation was featured in the soundtrack for the popular film Pretty Woman. In 1991, Cetera co-wrote with David Foster and Linda Thompson and sang on Voices That Care, a song and supporting documentary music video intended to help boost the morale of American troops involved in Operation Desert Storm, as well as to support the International Red Cross organization. After a 4-year hiatus, he issued World Falling Down, his final release for Warner Brothers. One Clear Voice was released in 1995, and in 1997, Cetera issued You're the Inspiration, a collection of past hits and new material. Cetera stepped out of the limelight for a few years to enjoy his life and his family, and returned in 2001 with another Perfect World. The holiday offering You Just Gotta Love Christmas followed in 2004. Cetera appeared as himself in the 2010 Adult Swim program Tim and Eric Awesome Show Great Job, Season 5, Episode 9 Green Machine, which also featured the actor Ted Danson. In a podcast interview with Mark Pattison from November 2019, Cetera said he was done. He explained that he had long wanted to quit performing before he lost his voice, and also cited the amount of travel involved in touring. He also said that he now had to learn to be an out-of-work singer. His last live concert was November 23, 2018 in Idaho. And that's what happened to Peter Cetera. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Give me some facts about Peter Cetera that I failed to mention in this video. And if you enjoyed this video, I know that you'll enjoy the full-length video I did on what happened to Chicago. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.